our cricket show. Um, Thank you for joining us on Cricket Extra as we come to you for the first time in a while. We're bringing you coverage on West Indies cricket. It was a hard day for West Indies. West Indies experienced a difficult um, first day in the third and final test against New Zealand in the ongoing three-match test series with New Zealand. Just an overview. West Indies um, lost the toss. New Zealand win the toss and electing to bat first. Um, they made 334 for the loss of one at the moment. West Indies bowling some 86 overs before they would have taken their first wicket. And Tom was caught. Ruston Chase bowled Kimar Roach for 137. Devon Conway not out on 178, and Jacob Duffy not out on 9. At the moment, he's the night watchman. West Indies was made to Kyle Kimar Roach, bowling 19 overs, only picking a wicket for 63. Jaden Seeds bowling 21 overs, giving away 67 runs without taking a wicket. I have along with me here Mr. Dale Brown. He's a cricket Hall of Famer honorary secretary, and he's with us to um, discuss West Indies and what would have happened in terms of the first day of the third test match with West Indies and New Zealand. Mr. Brown, good evening and thank you for joining us. Your thoughts on the West Indies team unable to restrict New Zealand under 300 in the first innings so far, only being able to take a wicket. And it was a day that truly belonged to New Zealand.
Yes, Mr. Codlin, I thank you very much for inviting me on, and it's a pleasure to be here. Well, the West Indies bowling failed miserably to restrict or to take wickets, and for myself, the bowling unit is really cause for concern, especially since this year overall, and since July, since after the Australian series, I should say. And one of the things that stick out, we have to remember, of course, that Shamar Joseph and Alzar Joseph are not available to them. But that being said, I don't know what their absence, how it has impacted Jaden Seals, because Jaden Seals, his performance in the last seven matches has really fallen down from the high standards that he had. And I don't know if their absence have anything to do with it, because in the last seven matches, he has only taken 12 wickets and he has been very expensive in at 49, getting them at 49 runs each. And that are not those are of course not good figures for the spearhead of any bowling attack. And Roach, given the chances that he has been given, has performed very well. But you would have thought that Seals would have supported him even more.
Indeed, um, with your thoughts there, looking at the West Indies team that went to New Zealand, the only player that would have gotten a game thus far and will not get a game based on the circumstances of this test match is the vice captain. How of how disappointing it is for Jamil Warkan to be vice captain but not finding a place in the final playing 11 for these three test matches, not featured in the playing 11 at all in these three test matches.
And I think that that is a huge disappointment, especially given the fact, as you mentioned, he is the vice captain. And if you believe that the captain is a better spinner than the vice captain, and if you have a choice between both of them, because one is captain and one is vice captain, so based on the captain's inability to make runs in the top of the order, if you play him, you should be playing him now more as a lower order batsman player because you are featuring his spin bowling. And that does not make sense because Ruston Chase is not a better spinner than Warwican. So somewhere along the line, they have not selected either the right captain or the right vice captain or however we want to put it, or the right balance for the bowling unit. Because I'm going to be really hard pressed to believe that given that Alzari Joseph and Shamar Joseph are not available, regardless of the conditions, I think that if you cannot find a place in that team for Warwican, then why is he in the squad any at all? If you're missing your two of your main bowlers in Alzari and Shamar, why is it you cannot find a place for Warwican in the team?
Indeed. And seeing that this wicket is more of a spinning wicket, you would imagine that he would play, seeing that New Zealand would have dropped one of their faster bowler and brought in a spinner.
And yes, sir. And remember that the spinner that they bring in is their second spinner because their main spinner, Mitchell Santner, is unavailable due to injury. So they are bringing in their second string spin bowler to come in because they expect the wicket to take spin later on. And we are putting our hopes and trust in Ruston Chase to be our main spin bowler. And that something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with the makeup of our team and the bowling unit. Because in this match in particular, Warwican should have been there. I'm not saying it would make us win, it will make anything, but he should have been there in this squad, in this playing 11.
Absolutely. And the fact is that they brought in um, Alec Athens to strengthen the batting in place of the injured Dudley Shields, according to them. And they would have not given him a ball based on what we're seeing here. And Kevin Nudge that can do a bit of spinning as well would have not gotten ball. How disappointing are you to see the losing concentration by the captain?
To that point, Mr. Codlin, you look at Anderson Phillip and not picking on him, but why the insistence on bowling him when you have, as you mentioned, Hodge and you mentioned Athenias? Why not give them a chance, give them a bowl? Because not only is Philip ineffective, he is very expensive. You give him 10 overs, he giving up 60 runs. You can't afford to do that.
Indeed, I totally agree with that. So, looking at the bowling, Kimar Roach, 19 overs, 3 maidens, 63 runs, picking up the wicket, economy rate of 3.32 runs per over. Jaden Seals, 21 of 1 made, 67 runs. His economy rate is a bit better than Kimar Roach with 3.19 runs per over. Anderson Phillip, 2 maidens from his 14 over, 71 runs. Economy rate of 5.0 runs per over. And Justin Greaves, 17 overs, 2 maidens, 55 runs. Um, with 30 with 3.24 runs per over. Ruston Chase capped in 19 overs, 75 runs, almost 4 runs per over. He's giving away 3.9 runs per over. It means for a disappointing bowling performance.
Yes, absolutely. And as I pointed out with Seals, especially as a strike bowler, because he's our main strike bowler. What we get from Roach is leadership, and he's so extremely skillful. And across the test matches, he has been our best bowler, hands down, so far. Most skillful, economical, and taking wickets. That's Roach. So I leave Roach out of this. I am concerned, as I said before, with Seals, whose wicket taking ability now has really dropped down. Because if you look at his last 7 matches, just the last 7 matches that he has played, he has only taken 12 wickets in those 7 matches at an average of 49 runs per wicket. So of course that is not figures that really make a strike bowler look very well, very good. And you wonder what is the effect of Shamar Joseph's absence and Alzari Joseph's absence on Jaden Seals, because he's bowling with an inferior bowling unit, and even when Shields played, that's OJ Shields, he took wickets. He was expensive, but he took wickets. And Seals was not able to do that. And that for me is a cause for concern. Is he suffering from fatigue? What is going on with him? Is there something going on with Jaden Seals?
Yes, I noticed that as well. And but one would say he has been in India, he has been playing in the limited over section of the tour of New Zealand early on. Uh, but West Indies do have now a mental coach as they would have it. And with Mr. Chambers just joining us, Mr. Chambers, what could be the factor in Jaden Seals now? When you look on his body language, you could see that he's tired. Mr. Chambers with us.
Um, Somebody's muted. If that is Mr. Chambers, is he muted?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we'll sort it out and get back to that person. Um, but looking at it, Mr. Brown, the West Indies just did not have what it takes last night to take a wicket. And Kimar Roach coming back into this team because of the unavailability of Jaden C. Azari Joseph and Shamar Joseph. He has grabbed the opportunity with both hands.
Yes, definitely. And being the professional that he is, it does not surprise me. Kemar Roach is an excellent bowler, and as I say, skillful. You look at how his ball moves, he sets up batsmen, etc., etc. Does not surprise me. And everything happens for a reason, and I think that he should have always been in the squad, even if it was just to guide the um, the other the other bowlers, even if it was just for that reason, you know. And I'm very proud of him, very proud of how he represents himself, very proud of how he handled himself, and not to forget his batting contributions, because I, you can't give him too much praise for what he did in that first test match. And it was his professionalism, understanding the game, and applying himself in the discipline of batting. And you can also see that same application when he is bowling. And he's an asset to the team in so many different ways.
close to 300 wickets.
And we hope and pray that he will get there and they won't discard him before he gets there. Because if you want to say somebody deserves to get there, I think I can make a case that he truly deserves the opportunity to get there to the 300 milestone that you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And West Indies is known for not treating their legend in a dignified way, even if they want to say to them, it's time now for you to retire. There's no documented thing to say that they did um, give the player the goodbye like he deserved. We remember what would have happened to Shivnarine Chandapal and a few others that have served us well. So we do hope that Kimaro should be afforded an opportunity to go off in style. Um, looking at the captaincy for Ruston Chase coming in, taking over from Craig Bradway, captaining the West Indies, the first test match against Australia, and now against India, now against New Zealand, losing all of them. It's a rocky start, a start that one would have never expected. Do you think that, or do you have confidence that Ross Sanchez can turn it around, come the second innings of this ongoing test match?
Okay, I would have to expect that he would be able to do it, but I think he's up against it because when, for example, you look at, and I think you mentioned it before, you look at the body language last night or yesterday in during the game, the body language of the bowlers, there was no enthusiasm there. There wasn't in the fielders. They didn't show like, okay, come, we can do this thing. It was almost as if they were defeated. And you have to look now at the leadership to motivate them during the times of difficulties. And I don't see Chase being a motivational leader that can really pick up the players and say, let's go do it. Um, just as a comparison, you look at Ben Stokes for England. England not playing well, but you see the captain setting an example and really pushing, and you can see the effort. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to figure it out. Chase is not demonstrative to say, come on, boys, we can do it. The way you see a Ben Stokes saying, we can do it, and actually taking the ball and bowling the tough overs and sitting down and batting the way he expect the rest of the men to bat, occupy the crease. You're not seeing that from Ruston Chase. And I don't care how much of a cricket brain you have. If you cannot activate your thoughts into actions, then you may as well stay on the bench and talk. You have to show it into actions. And that is where, as you mentioned, the psychologists or whomever they have there, we need to see that these young men are willing to work through the pain and the struggle and know that you can expect something better going forward. But the sagging of the shoulders and hey, whatever, look at the chance that was dropped. It's the one chance you get, but it was dropped. Easy, easy chance. And it is because of lack of concentration.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental lapse. And we want to take credit for stressing the need for them to heal, um, rather embrace mindfulness and mind power within the West Indies team. They have healed to our suggestion, but we are seeing that it is not being taken um, on by the players, or whoever is communicating it is not doing a good enough um, job, because the captain really needs it at the moment. But as for Darren answer me, and being an all format coach, there's nothing to write home about other than the second test and the first test here in New Zealand as highlights for him as a coach.
In total agreement with that. And if we are going to say give him credit, or credit him in any way, which I don't have a problem doing that. But at the same time, the continued failures, he will have to take some responsibility for that. Because when they do well, we all commend them about it. But we cannot commend you when we don't see. For example, I don't believe, and I'm not suggesting that Anderson Phillips' purpose, want to give up 25 runs in 3 overs. But there is something lacking where they are not consistent with their lines and length, and to make the New Zealanders work for those runs. You have to let them work for the runs. You can't just give it to them. And that is where you see now the lack of discipline. And the lack of discipline also shows up in the batting when you give away a wicket easily. It's a matter of mental lapses. It's not that the balls that you're getting are very good deliveries and you couldn't avoid being out. Is that you're not up to the task of defending those deliveries because you're literally giving away your wickets. And it comes back down to your mental preparation and your approach.
And you can see that them going into this game, they have gone in it bowling first without a plan. There was no real plan. You could see them setting up the batters are working out a strategy of how to take wickets, just like how would have seen New Zealand prepare to bombard them with the shorter deliveries. There were no plan by West Indies, and if you're building a house without a plan, it is prone to come down falling on you, and that's what we are seeing with our beloved West Indies team at the moment. Looking ahead to day two that start in some 4 hours time, what are you expecting from the West Indian bowlers?
I expect them to refocus whomever they have over there as the person that they have as the sports psychologist. I forget his name at this moment. I apologize for that. But I expect the head coach, I expect the captain and all management to sit them down and read to them from the book and let them know, listen, forget what happened yesterday, come in and act as if you're the best bowler in the world and bowl to your line and length. Bowl to whatever they must have a plan. So bowl to your plan and chase. Be a little bit more demonstrative on the field, not in saying what are you doing, but in encouragement. You need to encourage your bowlers. You need to encourage your fielders. You need to lead from the front because you're not making the runs. So you have to be the primary cheerleader on the field. You're not taking wickets. So if you are the captain and you're not performing physically, now you got to perform mentally. You have you have to lead from the front where that is concerned. You have to become cheerleader number one for your team. Your team need you now more than ever. And I want to see Chase look like he's worried. I want to see him look that kind of a way.
Absolutely. It's as if he doesn't want to be the captain or are looking to keep the job. There's no real hunger from um Rust and Chase at the moment. But West Indies are prone to bat later tonight. Um, opener Brandon King and John Campbell, two Jamaicans. What are your expectations from them? King just celebrated his 31st birthday some 2 days ago.
My expectations from the batting unit is to look back at the test match against India when with Campbell and Hope, and look at um, Greaves and Hope in the first match against New Zealand, along with Kemar Roach, and know that if they can do it, I can do it too. So Campbell should be looking to replicate his performance and say, I did it once, I can do it again. Hope is to say, I can do it because he has been consistent in the last five test matches. And Brandon King must realize that guess what, Brandon? This is not 1 day cricket. Your aim is to try to bat for 3 and 4 hours. That is your aim. Playing a pretty cover drive and then getting out soon afterwards is not test cricket. So I believe that their pride is going to come in front, and they are going to want to perform well and don't gift their wickets to the New Zealanders, and put up that fight and let us be proud of them. Be proud of the effort. Win, lose, or draw. Be proud of the effort that you put in there, and let us see that you care. And the only way we can see and know that you care is by performance.
Indeed, indeed. This is all that we have for you today in terms of um, West Indies experience a very difficult time in the field. Um, I want to thank the Honorary Secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame that has sponsored this show today, Mr. Dale Brown, coming on as our special guest. He's also a consultant with us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy. And we want to thank all the viewers for joining us on Cricket Extra today um, as we bring to you discussion on West Indies cricket. We're having some audio problem, but we'll work on it when we come back tomorrow as we review day two of the ongoing third test match between West Indies and New Zealand. West Indies will surely bat tonight. Um, let's see how they will go on in their batting. But already, Mr. Brown, 334 is a massive first innings total being put up by New Zealand. One would think they would try quickly to reach the 500 run mark and then declare an axe to West Indies to bat and try to root it up. Certainly on day three, um, West Indies will have to bat to prevent that even if they lose, they need to put up a good fight in this final test match. And since 1993, West Indies have not won a test match in New Zealand. That's a long time now. That's almost 30, 2 years now, if not 32. And so it's quite disappointing that our team is performing so poorly. But thank you, Mr. Brown, for accepting the invitation and joining us today. We will have you back tomorrow to review day two of the ongoing three test match series of West Indies and New Zealand. Your final thoughts as we bid our viewers goodbye.
Yes, again, thank you very much for having me. And as I said, it's a pleasure being here. And we keep in touch with West Indies cricket 100%. No matter what you hear us say, we want to see them do well. But at the same time, we just have to be supportive, yet at the same time, acknowledge the faults that are there staring us in the face. And team selection, bowling unit, the batting unit, everything, we want to see them pick the right players for captaincy, for vice captaincy, and to make sure that we are giving people the right, putting the right people in the place that they belong so they can perform at their best. Thank you.
Indeed. Good night, viewers. Thank you for joining us.